Welcome back to the Financial G-Spot. I'm Robin Crane, and this show is all about you finding that specific area that you need to focus on so you can have an awesome life. And I don't want you to just have a decent life, an okay life, or an okay relationship. I want you to have passion. I want you to have love that lasts. So this is Love and Money Month. This is the series that's gonna help you turn your relationship around so that money never, ever gets in the way of your relationship and your love and your passion. My friends, Paul and Deborah Finck are coming to my house. This is my home, welcome. I'm getting ready for the shoot. You can see the room here. We got some lights and this is in our great room. And I'm really excited for you to meet Paul and Deborah. They have three, not one, not two, but three sets of twins. How do they keep their love and passion alive and not have money ruin their relationship when they have 6 children, 3 sets of twins? In a sec, you're going to get to meet them. Here they are, and Roxy's excited. Hey, come on in. We're already filming. Wow. Come on in. It's cold outside. Hi. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Find it all right?
Trevor! How's it going? How are you? I'm awesome.
I am doing awesome too.
Welcome. This she's a Patterdale Terrier.
You're so cute.
Okay, so we're finally sitting down. We've been schmoozing for, I don't know, probably an hour. You guys are so awesome.
Yeah,
We had to break for some pull-ups here.
Okay, so
Do I jump up?
come on! She's doing it!
Whoa!
Nice. Come on, all the way up!
This woman has had 6 children.
Super strong. Stretched out.
Probably an hour. You guys are so awesome. So I really want to talk about how have you done it? Like, what challenges? You must have had a ton of challenges. You have 3 sets of twins. How old are they?
19, 14, and 13.
I don't even know how you keep track. And the 13 and 14.
There's only
and how many
3
boys?
different dates we have to keep track of.
Right. And so how many boys and how many girls?
3 and 3.
3 and 3. Oh, that makes it nice.
So 2 girls, a boy and a girl, and 2 boys.
And were they natural? Like, are you guys twins? How did you get 3 sets of twins, and how have you not killed yourselves and each other?
Adopted, in vitro, and natural.
You adopted.
So the fraternal girls are adopted.
So the first 2.
They're actually
adopted.
my nieces biologically.
Right.
They're my sister's kids.
What?
Yes.
That's really crazy, because I gotta say that. So I have a gay brother, and years ago he asked if he can have my eggs. Little did. Just a random thing, you know. Little did we know that now here we are. We're trying to get pregnant, and now it's been 2 years, and we haven't yet. So
Oh my gosh.
probably, yeah. So that's a whole nother we can get into as well. But anyway, I bring that up because like I really had to. It wasn't ever a serious topic. It was just an idea. But I was thinking, like, can I imagine being the mother and aunt of my brother's kids?
I got to tell you that as soon as the children were, the girls were in our arms, as soon as they came into our house, within seconds, we were parents. They came right out of the hospital, so they were newborn. I remember within the hour, my mother was over and she was at the house, and I'm telling my mother how to hold my baby. Because they're my babies
just
now.
Instant, right?
And it was instant. And so when I encourage people to adopt, to grab hold, bring children into your life, they're the most amazing things in the world to be a part of your life and to really help you grow and mature and develop.
But how did your sister? I'm sorry, I'm just thinking because I'm like self-absorbed, right? So I'm thinking how I would have felt to give up my kids to my brother.
It was a difficult situation. She was not able to take care of him at the time. And so
was this planned since she was pregnant?
Absolutely
or
not.
No.
This was a surprise situation.
We had 9 days.
9 days you knew you were taking the babies?
From when she gave birth, we had 9 days to prepare. So people usually have 9 months. We had 9 days.
So you were like 9 days before or 10 days
We were
before. You were
living
thinking we're
together,
going to
we
be aunts
have-
and uncles. Yeah,
Exactly.
she's going to have twins.
Exactly.
Oh, it's so great. She's been pregnant this whole time, and then 9 days. What happened?
And then she
realized-
wasn't able to take care of him, and we ended up kind of being the only people that were available to take care of them and to bring them into our house.
Was it a
either
financial
us
thing that happened to her or not?
No. And so it was either us or foster care.
Oh,
and it was
my
either,
goodness.
and we said absolutely.
How long had you been married?
We hadn't been. We had just moved in together. We were maybe living together for about 4 months.
Oh my goodness.
When this all happened. And so we had 9 days notice. and all of a sudden we're parents
This
of twins.
is absurd.
Instantly.
The fact that you have 3 sets of twins is absurd. The fact that I mean that
Tell you,
in
I
itself,
was just
and
talking
this is
about
just
it,
crazy.
and one of the things that does relate exactly to what we were talking about is the girls were in our life.
Yeah.
And now we had them, and they're babies. They're newborn. They were also colic for all those moms out there and parents that know what colic means. They were crying around the clock. And it was about 6 weeks where we were totally self-absorbed in them in our life, and we never left the house. We didn't bring them anywhere. We're like, oh my gosh, we weren't sleeping. And it was about at the 6-week mark that I went, whoa, this isn't our life. This isn't what we wanted. This isn't what we created that we wanted to create in our life. What do we need to do?
You gave the kids back.
No.
I'm just kidding. That's
We
not even
changed
funny.
how we acted, and we decided the kids were brought into our life. We weren't bringing to theirs. And we said, now they're going to come with us. So however we want to go, wherever we want to do, whatever's going on with our life, they're going to come with us. And so we started going out. We started traveling with them right by our side.
Yeah.
And so their life was, her sister was working at Applebee's at the time. We'd go out to dinner at Applebee's several times a week. And the kids would be right by our side. And people were like, oh, I could never do that. I got to tell you,
It's a
they
decision,
didn't notice.
right? Nope.
It was a decision. It was a commitment. And they loved it. They had to sleep. They slept. They were eating. They were in the stroller next to us eating.
Wow.
And we were still able to have a life and create and live
And if
and
you don't-
enjoy
right.
and
If you
keep
don't
our
do that-
mentality and keep our relationship.
If you don't do that, you won't have a relationship. We'd be divorced today if we didn't do that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And actually, that's very interesting that you say that because, I'm looking at the time and it's time for a break already. So this is going to be awesome. We're going to cut to a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching the Financial G-Spot. Again, I'm Robin Crane. I'm here. I don't even think I gave too much on these guys besides the fact that I'm just overwhelmed by the fact that they have 3 sets of twins. So I forgot to tell you how amazing this power couple is. Paul Finck and Deborah Finck, same last name, right? Just making sure. And Paul, I know you're a huge speaker and you've also run the back of the room for like real big names. I know Marshall Silver. I asked you earlier if you've ever spoken on stage with Sir Richard Branson, and what did you tell me? Tell them what you told me.
It's not that we spoke on his stage, we just lived at his house.
They lived at his house,
Yeah,
you know, just minor things like that. I just saw pictures of these guys hanging out with Richard Branson, and they're all buddy-buddy, like practically making out. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Not weird.
Well, kind of. Anyway, yeah, Richard Branson
That's
is
another show, but this is a
very
Financial
friendly.
G-Spot.
He is very friendly.
Yeah,
And we absolutely had a great time. We were down in Necker Island. We've been down there twice for 2 different weeks. Hanging
awesome.
out
It was
with
blessed.
Richard, really understanding. And one of the key components, when we first got there, this was new experience for us, hanging out with billionaires. We were just beginning our transition of really understanding what wealth was all about and what it created. And we had the opportunity to go down there and hang out with him. I was in a leadership role, and spending the time with someone that's a billionaire, you really get an understanding of what it takes to create and what it means. Richard Branson has over 400 companies, and yet he's hanging out, having drinks, having dinner, doing conga line with Deborah, and having a great time. And people always think wealth means stress. Wealth means aggravation. Wealth means all these things in their mind.
Even if they don't know it consciously, they think that
They feel it.
unconsciously, because so many people are actually averse to being wealthy. They think they want it, but they're not willing to do what it takes. And actually, there's so much fear behind actually having wealth because they think it comes along with all this extra stuff.
Right.
And just because you have wealth, people think that you act differently or a different person.
Right. Or you're greedy. They put
We're
all these,
all the
you know,
same.
right.
Everybody is exactly the way. Everybody's exactly the same. No one is any better than anybody else in this world.
Absolutely. Same
My
with
feeling-
fame, right?
Yeah.
My feeling has always been with money. Money is a magnifier.
Yes.
It's not something that changes you. It magnifies who you are. So you were greedy before, you get money, you're going to show up more greedy. You were nasty before, you're going to show up more nasty.
By the way, he's not talking to me because I'm not greedy or nasty.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm just kidding.
Either way.
The only reason we're here is because Robin and Trevor are just
stop.
phenomenal people.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's
so-
the only reason we even would accept an interview like this.
Oh,
we
it's
deal
so
with
amazing to have you
high-powered
guys.
people all over the world, and I speak all across the country, all across Canada. We've been in UK,
Wow.
we've been in South Africa, speaking all
That's
over the
beautiful.
world.
Wow,
And
it's
really
amazing. I love
empowering
South
people,
Africa.
empowering the entrepreneurs of the world on how to really get clear with how they do their finances, how they have relationships, and how they can create the incredible life that they want, that they
Yeah.
always dreamed about, and yet never quite understood how to grab hold of it. That's what I teach on.
And
train
I
on.
love that you teach that and you stand for it. Like, it's so obvious just having you come into our home. And Deborah, we haven't met, but the second you walked in, I felt like I knew you. There's just like this
Absolutely.
love exuding from you guys, and it's just that's why I wanted to bring you on. Even just watching some of your videos and things like that, I know you're real and you're the real deal. And I think they want to know, I want to know, how is it that you've been able to maintain that passion and that love and that amazing quality of life, having 6 children, 3 sets of twins. I know you mentioned that one of the things that you did was to really, like, one strategy is instead of having you go into their life, they come into your life. And I was going to say before the break that I remember when Trevor and I went to Hawaii, and we brought Phoenix. This was when, like, pretty early on in our relationship. She was 3. And we would be out to dinner, and she'd fall asleep. She'd just crash,
Right.
like sushi
Wherever.
at 10 o'clock. Wherever we were, she would be. And she's the most flexible kid we've ever had. And the only kid we've ever had. But so super flexible because she's always been, like, just adapt to what we do and just into our lives. And
They're
Right.
used to it.
yeah.
Our kids travel with us all around the country. They've been to events with us. They've been through masterminds with
Wow,
us,
awesome.
and we bring them with us. And so the real joy of it is that they know what mommy and daddy do when we're not with them, and they also have
Everything.
participated fully with our life and what we've accomplished and what we've done. And that's been real important for them to get. So many people believe, and I was just talking to a group of people, that we're kind of stuck in I've got to be there for my kids. I've got to be there 100%. I have this part-time business, only it's part-time because I can't do this, I can't do that.
They're sacrificing
And they
for the children.
completely sacrifice. I said, and especially the mothers, their belief is that they will absolutely give up their life for their kid,
Right.
and that's the best thing for the kid. I said, that's a role model for them. Is that how you want them to live?
And
And
sometimes
they go, no.
Right. Like, and sometimes it just made me think, like, sometimes you get the especially the mom, I mean, not always, but gives so much love and attention to the kids, and that sacrifices their relationship. So before we have a couple minutes before the break, but I want to make sure to give a gift. Is there something that we can give the viewers that you think would really benefit them to have a better quality of life?
Yes.
What would you like to give?
The one thing that we do together is when we wake up in the morning, I'll either get the kids off to school or we'll all have breakfast together, whatever it may be. But what I usually say is, what do I need from you today? What do you need for me to do for you today? And what do we need to do for each other?
Awesome.
Whether it's kids, whether it's work, business, it doesn't matter. And, you know, who has to pick up the kids? And we do schedules and said, I need this from you, you need this from me, and this is what we need to do for each other for the day.
That's awesome.
Really-
On top of what I need to do.
It's very
and he needs to do.
intentional.
It's
you know?
really coming
It's like
together.
creating what you want.
Every day we come together and sometimes it's 3 minutes, sometimes it's 5
Right.
minutes. Sometimes we're able to sit down and have breakfast together and plan out our day in comfort and
Right.
leisure of half an hour time period. Only it's every day.
Right.
And that moment in time creates our whole day for us. And when you do it every day, it's that consistency of behavior that creates your
Right.
whole life.
Schedules and systems, and if I didn't have that, it would be a lot of chaos in my house. We had a friend over the other night, and he came over with his son. We also had one of my friend's son over, and I was babysitting 2 little girls, ages 2 and 5, for 3 days. They were all in the house. We had just
Add
come
some
home.
more kids to the mix.
Right. We had, well, you know, this is what we do. So we all came home, and the gentleman, I thought he was going to break out in hives. After it was all over, he said, I don't know how you guys do it. You were doing this, who was cooking, who was
He's
cleaning?
looking around. His quote was, "Is your house always like this?"
Yeah. He
And we're
said,
like,
there is so much chaos, except it was calm chaos.
and for us, we looked at
Yeah.
each other like, always like what?
I'm going to cut you off because we've got to go to a break. You're watching the Financial G-Spot on the Whatever It Takes Network. Welcome back to the Financial G-Spot on the Whatever It Takes Network. I want to, first off, before we even go into more of this incredible story with these guys, we want to give you a gift. And I know we were talking over the break, what is it that would be so valuable for you who is watching? And you said you would give away, you have an ebook.
I've got a special ebook, Design Your Perfect Life, and it really is the story on how we got started, the beginning stages of what really jumped us from the average life into the life that we now have, which is filled with abundance, filled with excitement and adventure, and been working for ourselves and just enjoying every moment of every day.
And how you maintain this incredible relationship after 3 sets of twins.
Yep.
Awesome. So you're going to go to financialgspot.com/perfectlife. financialgspot.com/perfectlife to get that free gift. And we're also, this isn't going to end here. This is the Love and Money series, and it's not going to end. We want to get together and do a webinar so that we can really help you guys know specifically what you need to do in your relationship so that you have the most incredible relationship. And these guys have not just strategies that have worked. I'm sure you have a ton of challenges that people may relate to at some level, but maybe even deeper challenges than others have. Give me something that, like, one of your biggest challenges or a time that you remember where it was just like you're pulling out your hair going, we have these 6 kids, maybe you haven't connected in a bit, or there was a time when there was some tension because of it. Like, what happened and how did you guys deal with that?
Which one do you want to start?
There's so many of them.
We started, and here's our journey. So I was doing well, and when I first graduated from college, I thought my well was 6-figure income.
Right.
I thought you make $100,000,
You've
man,
made it.
You've made it. Well, then I had 6 kids. 6 kids, a family of 8, $100,000 is just over poverty, literally.
Yeah.
That is, food stamp level is about $73,000 in Fairfield County, Connecticut, where we live. And so we were just over poverty level when we had 6 kids. And we had a lifestyle that was above that. And so we were going behind the 8 ball every single month.
Yeah.
Every single month putting more and more on credit cards, every single month getting more and more into debt. And I realized I had to do something different. We had to create something more in our life.
Wait, before you get started, the best was he called in a financial planner. So the man is sitting at our kitchen table talking to us. So we have 8 people in the family.
Right.
We have 6 kids, 6 under 6 of age.
Yeah.
And the gentleman just laughed at us.
No, wait a second. When you call it a financial planner, I had young kids. I figured, I saw the commercials on TV.
Right.
All you got to do, fill out some paperwork. You got a college fund.
Yeah,
I said, so give me 6 pieces of paper. Like, that was my mindset. I wasn't like this financial brilliant guy. I just knew, I saw the commercial. Come here. Let's work this out.
Yeah.
And he came there and I told him what I expected and he just started laughing.
I've never had anybody laugh at us like that. Literally laughing. And I'm like saying to myself, this is strange. Why would somebody laugh at me?
He was
Like
looking
it was
at
so
it.
hopeless?
I was making about 80 to 120,000 depending on the year.
Yeah.
And so he's saying, all right, so let's figure you're making $100,000 a year. So you're going to put 10% into a college fund? Well, that's $10,000 a year. So that sounds like a lot, only when you're used to living on 100 and you take $10,000 out, you've got like real challenges.
Right.
You're stressed with that.
And that's not even retirement.
Right,
Forget
that's
about
not
that.
retirement, that's not slush fund,
Forget
that's
about,
not
your
vacation
emergency fund,
that's
nothing.
just for college. And he said, so that's $150,000 when in 15 years, about $150,000 when you're all said and done. And even if we doubled your money in the investments that we chose, it's still going to be a drop in the bucket for what you need for colleges.
I was just reading this article that was saying that from the age, from up to age 18, it costs $300,000 for one child. And then we had talked about that, and you said, and then college is another, like 18
Another
to 21, or
$300,000
another
during that
300,000. So that's 600,000 times 6.
Easy.
That's $3.6 million just to have your kids
Easy.
survive through college.
The average price tag I've heard people say is about $1 million a kid.
Per kid.
And because there's other things with adventure and travel and everything else that you want to put into it, to really give them the pure life, it's $1 million a kid to raise them from birth all the way through to when they are ready to launch.
So what was the big, like, what was that time that you were going to tell about the Mox? We're on camera here.
So now I'm moving through this challenge of I got to create something new. So I'm bringing in all this education into my life.
Yeah.
I'm spending money to get educated, bring in resources, create new businesses.
You got to invest in yourself.
And
so
I'm
you can
investing
grow your
in
business.
myself. Well, here's the challenge is I invested in myself. I hadn't brought in yet. And there's that transition that a lot of you might relate to, that you've put the money out, only the return hasn't come in yet. And
As fast as you want it.
And that's the period of time when we were at where
That's
I put
scary.
out
That's
tens
scary.
of thousands of dollars, and none of it had come in yet. And she's telling, and we put it all on credit cards. We put it all, and we put ourselves
do you
more
remember
into debt.
what was the most at one time that you had on your credit cards? Because a lot of people are thinking, like, I can't invest in myself because I don't have the money, and then they just, you know, get this mediocre salary or mediocre business because they're not willing to take the risk. You guys took a huge risk, and I want to hear how bad it was
kids.
with
6 kids.
I'm sorry, with 8
sometimes
Don't
they add
confuse
two.
them.
with 8 in the family.
Don't confuse them.
So how much debt, how far into debt were you, and then how the
huge.
heck did you get out of
Huge.
it?
Credit cards?
Yeah, like credit cards.
I was crying.
Credit card alone.
I added it all up. It was a little over $150,000.
In credit card debt.
And how long did it take you to accumulate that? Was that like
Over about 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years, you accumulated 150,000, and I bet there was a time where you thought, like, how this is we're never going to be able to.
It was worse. She was wagging her finger in my face, going, "Get a job already! You can't do this anymore."
Right.
And I remember looking at it going, there is no job in the world that I
gonna
could
pay
get
you.
that's going to pay off all the debt, that's going
Right.
to dig us out of the financial challenges we're in. And I said, I've got to stay the course. I've got to stay in process. I've got to continue to stay focused on creating instead of focusing on debt, which is what so many people I hear around the world and around the country. That's what they say is, oh, I've got to pay off my debt. That's my first and number one goal. I said, when that's your first and number one goal, you're never going to get out of debt.
Yeah.
Because working
You're
for somebody
focused
else,
on it.
you're always working for somebody else, and you're always making the same
The
amount.
bare minimum.
Just
The
over
bare
broke.
minimum. And you will never be able to catch up.
Right.
Once you're in debt, you're never going to be able to catch up.
Unless you
Well, I
really...
teach this money mask. You got make, spend, and keep, MSK, right? So you either got to make more, spend less in order to keep more, right?
And then
So how much less can you spend, especially when you have 6 children?
There's
And how long
only
will it
so
take
much.
you to actually pay
Right.
that off?
Even if you made,
Strip
even
and
if you spent 0, and
So
you're
my
making
focus
$100,000.
is always, and you know this,
Right.
focus on the income. Focus on where it's going to
Absolutely.
come from and how to create more.
Multiple streams of
Rather
income.
than worrying about where you're going to save a dime, where you're going to save a penny, because that's not going to get you into the other stratosphere. It's not going to create the life that you're really dreaming of, that you really believe is your destiny.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I never understood that. And I always said, get a job.
Oh my God.
He said to me, think
There's
of it as...
security. You feel like that you
Absolutely.
needed security, and that
Absolutely.
feels secure. Yeah.
And he said to me, think of it as monopoly money. I said, monopoly?
Yeah.
Really? We're not playing a game here.
Yeah,
this
right.
is the game of life.
Absolutely.
It's a real game.
Yeah.
I used to play that game of life. I used to love it.
Yeah,
I was one of
totally.
twins, you know,
Right.
in the
Well,
car.
you got
Look
them.
what you got.
And I got twins all the time. So I said, how could we think of it as monopoly money? And he showed me, and he sat there and he planned it out and said, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do to change our life. And if he didn't do that, we got out of the credit card debt fairly fast. It was a year and a half.
So what did?
And gone.
First of all, I want to just say, like, my guess, Paul, is that without her support and love, that you probably couldn't have become the man who you became. And what is it
She
like?
saw more in me than I saw in myself. And
And that's so important.
I
for
wouldn't
people
be
to
here
know. Yeah.
if it wasn't for her. I wouldn't have created all that I created. I'd still be sitting on the couch watching TV of some sort or another, eating chips.
Counting your debt dollars.
Exactly.
And you know what it is? When you're a family, when you love each other, husband and wife, and you actually take care of them and give them the power to take hold of themselves, they can go out and accomplish whatever they want. And that's all it is.
And
Treat
it's
each other
both
with
ways.
respect. Absolutely. Treat each other with respect, kindness, and this is what I want.
Right?
That's all.
Never
And so
lose
much of
focus
it-
of what you want.
You've
Keep your eye on
got
the prize.
and one of the key components is being comfortable with who you are, be comfortable in your own skin. So many guys I know get uncomfortable with empowering their woman, empowering the people, the relationship that they're in. And when you empower them, it empowers you, and you both grow as a couple and as a team and as a business on all levels.
Right.
You can accomplish whatever you
And
want.
so all during this process, we build each other up and how she can accomplish more, how she can do more, and both of us pushing the envelope of what our fullest potential is. And being aware of that is so key with a relationship to really make it everything that it can be.
And this is exactly what Love and Money is about. I mean, you're giving some great nuggets. I hope you're pulling out of them, like what I'm hearing. I mean, so much support and belief and holding each other to the highest standard. And what I don't hear is judgment. I don't hear any judgment.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's so easy for people to judge. And
It's a blame
I've
game.
been known to do it before once or twice. So it's so easy, though, to blame and to judge. And that's some rules I teach in my Love and Money course.
Yes.
Is no blaming, no judges, no excuses.
Right.
And
It's not going to get you anywhere.
it's so obvious that you live by that. And so how have
And
you...
that's true with that's not even just your personal relationships. It's
Everything.
with every relationship.
absolutely.
The more you avoid that, and the more you realize gratitude and greatness, and that everybody can have it, and that everyone is in a place that is right for them at the moment that they're at that moment. And when you realize that with each other, you eliminate those judgments, you eliminate the blame game. When we were in the heart of $150,000 in debt, what are you doing? It would have been so easy for her to point fingers at me, blame me for the life that we had at that moment, and say, fix it or else.
Right.
And I hear
This
that
ultimatum,
with couples
right?
where they go, it's all his fault, I couldn't handle it, that's why I left him. I was like, it took the two of you to get in that situation. And unless we joined forces and said, it's going to take the two of us to move out of that, we wouldn't be here today.
That's beautiful. That's so amazing. So what is it besides supporting each other? I mean, I guess I want to know, like, how did you turn it around, and how quickly did you turn it around? Obviously, you had the support, you had the love, you were a team, cooperating, working together, believing in each other. That's pretty much everything for Love and Money. But dealing with the stress, like, you were able to finally say, you know what, I'm not going to keep, like, I don't think you were blaming, but keep focusing on the debt. So you let go, and then you went out and kicked butt.
Right.
And what did you do? How did you do it?
I had to let go. I had to let go
Yeah, you let
mentally
go.
and say, you know what?
Yes.
These are just
Just
numbers
trust.
on a piece of paper. That's all they are. And once you realize what you're looking at, just a bunch of numbers. Doesn't matter how big they are, how small they are, because some people, small numbers still mean a lot to them.
Right.
And large numbers, people that have money, they could have large,
Large
debt. And I just looked at his numbers and said, you know what? Those numbers will decrease, and we will take hold of them. They're not going to control us, just like the kids.
Yeah.
We're going to take control of our environment. And we did.
To understand and moving that point one step further is that we are not our bank account. That does not define who we are.
Yes.
And that when you get clear with that, you get to define who you are as people. And that's just a piece of the pie. That's an equation of, so we've got a messy house. Well, just because you have the messy house doesn't mean you can't take a broom and dust it up and clean up and polish it and make it really shiny and beautiful. Well, the same thing with your bank account. You can make it shiny and beautiful any moment that you want. It doesn't define you. And as soon as you realize that and you can create a new existence, then you can get clear with one another and then get into action mode.
And
which
I
is
think,
what we did.
I mean, it's you obviously took action. You turned your whole life around. And I think the fastest way to make money, and I'm sure you agree with this, and I know from experience and I know from learning it and seeing it, is to serve others. The more you help people, the more money you will have. And I know from knowing what you do as a speaker and a coach, international speaker, international coach, helping people around the world, helping them create what you've created, like to design their perfect life. Being able to do that was what allowed you to have the life that you have.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Oh, no question. It's being able to give back, to give to people and to really empower them. My purpose in life at this point is to empower others to have the lifestyle that we have. That is by far overreaching everything I do. It's the whole goal of what I do on a daily basis, and I will for the rest of my life.
That's awesome.
And so in doing that, one of the greatest things now, I've been doing it long enough, been a coach now officially for the last 8 years. And in that process, now I'm getting accolades back. I'm getting people that coached with me 3 years ago, people that even just came into my presence 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that now are coming back and going, you have no idea what you did for my life.
Because it's
you
exponential.
have no idea how you changed it. Because at the time they were just in receiving mode and they hadn't processed it yet.
Yeah.
And it was after the fact that they started processing it, then they finally came back to me and went, it was you. It was what you said, what you did, how you moved me.
It's that transformation. I mean, that's why I love to do what I do, and I get all choked up, when I'm teaching a seminar and see the transformation in the room of people just shifting, like their belief shift, their behavior shift, and all of a sudden it's like you see that they have a new life. And this is what we really want to give you out there. We want you to have love and money, to have both. I mean, we're going to wrap up, but I just want to ask one more thing, because we didn't even get to everything. I mean, you went through in vitro,
before you do,
yes.
For me, it's the women. Most of the women don't know where to turn. So then they look at me and say, a mom of 6, a wife, a loving relationship, how do you do it? And I want to see everybody get where we are. Yeah. No matter who you are. And a lot of the women gravitate toward me because they're like, how do you do it? What do I do? I don't have a man beside me. I don't have anyone. I need to get control of my life. Where do I start?
And what's one thing you'll give them? Like, if you were to give, I know you probably you give them a ton of nuggets, but what's one nugget you would give them? I like to say nuggets.
You could do whatever you want. Anyone can.
It's that belief.
All the mindset. And if they don't have that mindset and they don't take control of their life and get rid of all of this other stuff that's just holding them down.
Right. Let it go.
Right. Because you'll never move forward. And you only have one life.
Yeah.
That's the key. Live it the way you want and change it to better yourself.
Time for one more nugget with that.
Yeah.
The follow-up piece to that is that consider how you want that relationship to be. Get out of the moment and focus in on what it really means and where you want to bring it.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't treat a stray dog the way you sometimes treat your loved one. And as soon as you can pull yourself out of the moment and get clear with how you're treating that person and realize this is the person that you profess to be, the person that you love the most in your world, treat them with that same love every single moment.
Aww.
And that's when...
That's very sweet.
That's when the magic happens. And so it's taking yourself out of the and the rage and the angst that can develop in a split second. Pull yourself away from that and realize you're talking to the love of your life. And when you do that, it changes the whole conversation.
Even just the energy, like from you saying it, just changes. Like just you can feel it, and I love again how real you both are, and it's such a great example for everyone watching. So thank you so much. Oh, honey, hi. You're watching the Financial G-Spot on the Whenever It Takes Network. I'm Robin Crane here with
Do
Paul
this at home.
and Deborah
Enjoy.
Finck and my husband Trevor Crane. We'll see you next time.
I was so moved.
Just make sure you go to the financialgspot.com/perfect life. Get more of this awesome value from this couple, and we'll be doing a webinar to give you even more value so you can apply it in your life. All right, thank you.
The Financial G-Spot is also available for download on iTunes and Stitcher. See the link in the description below.